the UK's policy parties are gear up to struggle elections to the Europe Parliament in 6 weeks period. The planner necessary to phase the polls on 23 May is by path, although Theresa May yet hopes the UK will include leftward the EU by later and they win T requirement to occur. As newly as the end of March, the main secretary told the Social would discover it inappropriate to include to choose a new team of 72 MEPs nearly 3 years following they elect to keep the EU. But things include modified with later. By regulation coordinated in EU leaders in Brussels, the UK has been taking into account a Brexit expansion before October 31. The UK must conduct the elections to the Europe Parliament, and if it fails to do the UK will keep on June 1 out of transactions. Taking into account the policy background, they could rotate out to be the largest contentious and unexpected Europe elections in UK story. In brief, in thing of a rush. The parties include to present the names of the candidates, presenting them to the elections guard dog by April 25 or, in the instance of the southward western area, 24 several hours over. MEPs are selected on a provincial listing base, presenting Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland and 9 British regions, with a framework of proportionate presentation. Time-lot Brexiters are irate on the UK possessing to take part at all. Religious it is a waste management of period and cash, the probability of any type of boycott seems remotely. Lot now consider the survey as a authorization plebiscite on Brexit and the UK's next in the EU. UKIP lead Gerard Floorboard, whose side crowned the 2014 survey, has started up a crowdfunding campaigning and told the side's communication would be one of simplex departure of the EU and no letting. Taking into account the absence of period, the choice trial is potential to be more than shortened rather than normal. Labour is giver its current MEPs concessional treat by ensuring them dots at the top of every provincial applicant listing. As it stands, 16 of the 20 Labour MEPs selected in 2014 include attached to stay. Would-be prudent candidates had before Tuesday, April 9 to put by themselves striker. It requested if the side would be capable to fill in all 70 dots on its relevant inclusive and candidates WhatsApp groups complete of jokes on the frustration of take portion. The present lead of the prudent team in the Europe Parliament, Ashley Lissa, has affirmed he will be take portion and joked on the potential admission he could get on the doorsteps. The permissive Democrats and the verdant side see the polls as an prospect to do the instance for extended EU affiliation, in the Greens swearing to mobilize one of the powerful pro-EU movements always. The policy scenery was really various the recent period the Europe elections were detained in 2014. The Conservative Party and Lib Dems were steering in coalition and although David Mr. Cameron had signalled his wish to conduct an EU plebiscite if he won in common most, the perspective yet seemed far away. Yet, in retrospective view, the outcome could be seen to include been forerunner of things to go as UKIP crowned the polls for the at first always period, winner almost 27% of the voice and 24 seats. The side done its at first appropriate election breakout at 10 years over while it won 15% of the voice and 12 seats in 2004's polls. Europe elections include historic been more than fruitful area for against establishment parties, that include struggled to convert votes in seats in general elections since of the at first past the post framework. The Conservative Party and Labour are clearly nerve how the tendency will go on if the polls go front. For the history 20-year, UKIP has been the rebel side in UK policy but now it is cladding a problem of its ex-lead Nigel Farage, who has started up a competing gear named the Brexit side. Mr. Farage, who will be permanent as a applicant in the Southward East area, has vowed to learn the institution a class. The side, that will start its campaigning on Friday, is positioning by itself as the actual option to the Conservative Party and Labour that it says include devotee the 17.4 millionth human beings who elect to keep the EU. Down there is slight loving lose among Mr. Farage and Mr. Floorboard following the last equipped against Islam campaign participant Tommy Robinson as an advisor. Down there are accountable the former English Defence League lead could act several type of part in UKIP's campaigning. Eurosceptic voters are potential to include a abundance of selection in May's polls, in some parties set to stay consisting our nationality, an essence shaped recent year by the brief-lived UKIP lead Henry Bolton. The perspective of a probable restructuring is not restricted to the order of UK policy. The Break Freelance team of ex-Labour and Tory MPs are hoping to box a significant quantity of candidates if their annex to be a policy side is recognised by the election committee. They expect to struggle the poll as changing UK, the Freelance team, on a plate of searching else plebiscite on the regulation of Brexit, in the stock option to stay. Intermediate lead, former Tory MP Heidi Alena, has told the survey is a actual prospect to construct a new policy motion, offering the social is weeping out to who to conduct and say we can fair remain. How length any UK MEPs get to remain in Brussels and Strasbourg is nobody's wonder at the phase. The new Europe Parliament is set to reassemble in previous July, and the Brexit expansion is due to run up to October 31st. It is no much longer for the realms of opportunity how UK political community and their personnel, who just newly were considering a next external the Europe Parliament, will discover by themselves down there.